Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy, Keep It Real MMA. I know you haven't seen me in a while. Keep a lookout soon because I'm preparing my video ready for the Imavov versus Gaslam card, which is coming up this weekend. So, first time we've seen UFC in a good 4 weeks. But yeah, it's felt a lot longer than I was. It's insane. But yeah. Anyway, guys, if you're new, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate all the love and support. Obviously, I forgot the exact subscriber count. I think it's like 105, 106, something like that. So I really appreciate everybody liking and subscribing. If you're new, like I said, I'm Keep It Real MMA. You'll find out shortly. So yeah, thank you very much. As you can tell by the title, I know I'm a bit late to this, but they're thinking of making like a potential matchup between Beneil Dariush and Charles Oliveira. It's a good fight to make, and I think it's the right fight if Poirier is going to sit out. Now, I'm kind of fed up and over the lightweight division in a way. And the reason I'm over the lightweight division is because the lightweight division is very frustrating. It's not as bad as the welterweight division, but it's still bad in terms of nobody really fights each other, but when they do fight each other, it's the same people recycled. It's the same type of fights recycled. You got Poirier for Khabib for the belt. He loses. And then he goes and fights Dan Hooker, a contender that wouldn't have given him a title shot for beating, which didn't. And then he goes and fights Conor McGregor, coming off of, another year off, twice. And then fights for the belt again, gets choked out by Charles Oliveira. And then comes back down and then fights Chandler. Chandler fights Dan Hooker, gets an instant title shot, loses to Charles Oliveira, comes up and then fights Gaethje, loses to Gaethje, then fights Tony Ferguson, beats Tony Ferguson, and then fights Poirier and then loses. It's kind of like the same circle. Like obviously Tony lost to Gaethje, then Gaethje lost to Khabib, then Gaethje beat Chandler, and then Gaethje fought Oliveira and lost. It's just the same recycled shit over and over and over again. And Beneil Dariush is the one getting left out in this entire instance. And then in the meanwhile, you got Arman Tsarukyan getting robbed against Gamrot. And then you got Gamrot fighting Dariush. Dariush beating him after coming back off an injury. And it's just the same recycled shit over and over again. It's better than the welterweight division, don't get me wrong, because nobody fucking fights in the welterweight division, it seems like. I know Jeff Neal and Shavkat Rakhmonov got rebooked, which is great. I'm glad that that's been rebooked. That's what you want to see. But you've got people like Masvidal, Colby, Gilbert. Gilbert's fighting Neil Magny, sorry. So, shout out to him. Who else have we got? Bilal hasn't got a fight. Who else haven't got a fight? Well, loads of people haven't got a fight. And it's like nobody's fighting each other. Like, where's Colby been? And I know you got, like, the whole, like, the cold case shit, and I completely understand that, but there's no way you can't work around those dates. There's no fucking way that you've had to sit out since March, where the only relative damage you took from Masvidal was a right hand that dropped you to one knee in, I think it was the 4th round or the 3rd round that landed, and you were fine, and you just went back to dominating. And I say this as a Colby fan. Colby is literally my favourite fighter in the UFC right now. I love Colby. I love his personality. I love that he fucking triggers people. And I just love his fighting style. I appreciate the cardio wrestler. I really appreciate how much dedication and how much cardio it takes and how good a wrestler you need to be to do that. And, you know what I mean? He's not fighting anybody. Masvidal ain't fighting anybody. He missed out on a massive opportunity versus Gilbert Burns, because that win could have set him up for the Leon fight if Usman was out. Or could have waited until Leon and Usman fought, and then he could have got it because that storyline built up from him fighting him backstage. Now, Hamzat is looking for a fight, but, Bilal's right there, but Hamzat won't take that for some reason. It seems to be getting ignored. So, I just don't get it. And then you got Wonderboy only wanting to fight strikers. And then the rest is left up in the scrap pack. Then you got Vicente Luque, who got knocked out by Jeff Neal. Now, Jeff Neal's got Shavkat. So, fair play to Jeff Neal, taking a guy who's lower ranked, who's probably going to beat him. But then you've got other people who are, trying to protect their ranking and not fight him. But anyway, back to the lightweight division. So it's not that bad, my point is, in the lightweight division, but it is bad to the point where you just got basically recycled fights you can see coming from a mile away. And it's like, what are they going to do? They're just going to keep fighting each other until they get a title shot. Like, so what happens now? Is Poirier going to fight Gaethje, beat Gaethje again, and is that then going to justify a title shot for Poirier? Like, it makes no sense, because then if Islam is still the champion, if he beats Volkanovski and remains the champ, is then Poirier going to fight Islam, who basically, another Dagestani who's probably going to choke him out? So it makes no sense. And it's like, so this is what I would like to see. I don't mind Oliveira versus Beneil, but the only thing is now it leaves a weird situation, because if Oliveira wins, he's going to have to rely on Volkanovski beating Islam, which I don't think will happen. I will pick Islam in that fight, but I don't know, like, I wouldn't mind seeing an Oliveira rematch with Islam, but at the same time, I think he'll need another win in the meantime. The problem is he's beaten Gaethje, he's beaten Poirier, and then if he beats Beneil, he's beaten the top 3 there. Who else can he really fight? He's beaten Tony, who's not even in the top 10 anymore. He's beaten... Who else has he beaten? Like I said, he's beaten Gaethje. Like, who else could he fight? So this fight is kind of relying on Beneil to win, because then if Beneil wins, he can go and fight Islam. If Islam beats... Well, he can fight either one. Whoever fucking wins, he deserves the title shot. Maybe, like, if Oliveira wins this fight, maybe you can get, like, an Arman Sarukian, maybe. Someone like that. But anyway, back onto the more topic of the fight. I am going to be picking Charles Oliveira for this fight. And the reason I'm picking Charles Oliveira, like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail, because if you guys are new here, I like to go more into detail if I break down the fight specifically, or if I break down the fight on a card breakdown. But Charles Oliveira has too many ways to win against Beneil. And Beneil's very talented, he's very well-rounded. But there's certain factors that Charles has that will negate a lot of the things that Beneil does very well. But I genuinely think, right, styles make matchups. I mean, styles make fights, sorry. And I honestly think, right, that Beneil Dariush has a better chance against Islam than he does against Charles. I really do believe that. Dariush has a higher chance of beating Islam Makhachev than he does of beating Charles Oliveira. And when you think about the style, it makes sense. But, you know, like, styles make matchups, like I said. So, you know what I mean? But if MMA math worked, it wouldn't make sense. You know what I mean? Because, obviously, Charles Oliveira lost to Islam. And then, like, if Beneil then were to lose to Islam, Beneil was then to lose to Charles, he probably wouldn't beat Islam, because that's the math. But it doesn't work like that, like I said. So, yeah, so that's all I got to say on the fight at the moment. Like, the lightweight division is just stupid at the moment. Nothing makes sense, really. But, like I said, it's not as bad as the welterweight division at the moment. And don't even get me started on the middleweight division. But, yeah. Yeah, I will pick... I will pick Charles Oliveira. I'll go more into detail when I break it down, if the fight actually properly happens. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're new, please like and subscribe. Like I said, I really appreciate you. Like I said, look out for the video. Imavov versus Gastelum will be soon. I'll make that by the end of the week. Because I like to do as late as possible, just in case anybody pulls out. And then, you know what I mean, then it's just awkward then having breaking down a fight on a card and it's not even happening. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. This is Keep It Real MMA. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.